Hello, everybody. Um, uh, I don't know exactly what this video is going to be called, but this is going to be about Pokemon. Um, ever since the ever since the epilogue came out, I've just had these. The Petron epilogue came out. I just had these ideas about Scarlet and Violet that I would like to talk about. So, um, let me give you a bit of a background on myself first. I am a I am I used to play I used to play Pokemon a lot when I was younger. I was introduced to Pokemon in the Black and White generation, Gen 5, um, and I just fell in love with the games. I fell in love with the anime, um, even though, yeah, the Black and White anime does have its own issues, but I just enjoyed them. I just did. It just really clicked with me, and I played Black and White. I played Black and White too. I played all the games until Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, and you know, yeah, as a kid, I really did enjoy Pokemon a lot. Um, yeah, I went back to play the older games when I was really big into Pokemon, and I just yeah. Eventually, as time passed, I got out of Pokemon. For one, I was in high school. Two, the Sun and I mean not Sun, but the Sword and Shield games removed National Dex, and well, the National Dex was gone in Sun and Moon, but they removed the ability to transfer all the Pokemon into one game, and I'm going to explain why that's bad for me in particular. You see, I am an autist that when I was younger, I had a hyperfixation on Pokemon. I would argue Pokemon may be one of my earliest hyperfixation, aside from like Spider-Man or SpongeBob. But as someone with autism, I used to play Pokemon a lot. I did enjoy Pokemon, and one of my favorite things to do while playing the game is I would build an entirely new team out of Pokemon that I built up uh, that I have not built up previously. For example, if I were to do another Black and White playthrough, I wouldn't want to use Imbor, Superior, or Samurott because I've already used those Pokemon on other teams. I would want to have a completely different starter. Let's say if I never used Watchog, I would probably catch a Patrat, and that would be my starter. So, yes, I do that shit a lot, and I would, um, most of it, if not all the time, when I would play a new save file, is I would make an entirely new team of just new Pokemon I haven't used. And, like, that's something I would like to do. Not many people play like that. In fact, I would argue, a lot of people that, like, every time they go through a Gen 4 game, they capture, like, a Lucario or something, you know. But I like to have a variety in my Pokemon teams. And one of my favorite things to do, like, one of my favorite things to do in older Pokemon games, as in before it went to the Switch, is I would like to, after I was done with the save file, I would have liked to transfer each of my teams up into the newest Pokemon game that I had. And I was doing this for years, and I loved it. I loved building a big repertoire of just many different Pokemon teams that I used, and I would have like my black and white. I would have my black and white teams next to my X and Y teams, and like that stuff. And in fact, I really enjoyed it. Yeah. Yeah. So of course, that is the reason why National Dex was a big deal for me, and why I skipped Gen 8, the Sword and Shield generation. With, the games, like, with me not being very interested in those games, and just frankly not liking them, as well as BDSP, I just sort of ignored those games. My brother, he has Legend Arceus, and I played through it once. I did genuinely like the game, but frankly, I just didn't feel like going through the post game and that stuff. So yeah. 5 minutes in and not even talking about Scarlet and Violet yet. I'll try to speed it up. So, I do have a background in Pokemon. I've been playing for a very long time. Well, not as long as a Gen 1er, but you get my point. I've been playing since childhood up until I was like a late teenager. So, yeah. So I was curious about last year, and I decided to buy Pokemon Violet. And I did play through the game once, and I had to say I did enjoy it despite the glitches and the performance issues. I did actually enjoy the game, and if it weren't for the glitches and the performance issues, I would say it's actually a pretty good Pokemon game. I mean, it does things differently, and just because something is different doesn't mean it's bad. I like Nimona. She's great. I did like Arven's story. I found the Team Star stuff with like Penny and all that to be a bit silly, but it's a school setting, so can't really fault it that much. And yeah. So I found Scarlet and Violet to be enjoyable. I found it to be pretty good. Yes, despite all the bad stuff in it. I don't think I'd play it again because, again, I can't really transfer all my Pokemon from past games up to Scarlet and Violet. If I wanted to transfer all my Pokemon from my 3DS sitting in my Ultra Sun cartridge, what I'd have to do is I'd have to buy Pokemon Home, which I don't want to do. I'd have to buy all of the games on the Switch, right? And even then, it's not even a guarantee that all my Pokemon will be able to sit on some games on my Switch. So, yeah, it's terrible. So, yeah, I'm not transferring anything anymore. And yeah, Scarlet. I have to say, Scarlet and Violet, like those are pretty okay games. Like, they weren't the best Pokemon games, but I did enjoy them. Okay, this is the part where I start speaking about the DLCs, and I did not buy the DLCs. Keep in mind that. I absolutely refuse to buy the DLCs. That's because of a few reasons. And, one, because I can't really spare $35 at the moment. I mean, not, yeah, $35. For some reason, I thought I said $75. That would have been outrageous. But, yeah, like, one, I can't afford to spend $35 in the moment. And two, the DLC just frankly isn't worth buying for me. And I'm going to explain why. Okay, one. Alright. If I am expected to buy, right, if I buy a $60 game, right? If I buy a $60 game, I expect it to be very good. I expect it to be performing well, not have that many glitches, which Scarlet and Violet did not succeed at. So, that's one strikeout. Two, I just don't find the DLC to be that good. I watched the DLC. I watched the DLC Let's Plays on Tyranitar Tube's channel. I watched a few other YouTubers, and frankly, I just didn't find a reason to spend $35 on a game I've already spent $60 on. So yeah, and I'm going to explain why I dislike the DLCs, and that's because one reason is because they seem to be really fucking grindy. Hold on, I'm trying to think of my point. They're really grindy, like the DLCs. For example, if you want to get the exclusive one-time catch Pokemon, like Blood Moon Ursaluna and Raging Bolt, Gouging Fire. I don't care about the Metal Swords of Justice, but if you want those Pokemon, you will have to 100% complete the DLC Pokedexes. which I do not feel like doing. I never completed the Pokedexes in past games. So why would I want to complete the Pokedexes of these games? That doesn't make that much sense to me. Because, frankly, because of how I play Pokemon, I like to make a team of Pokemon that I've either rarely used or never used. So, like, that doesn't appeal to myself specifically. I do not like to play like that. And, I just, I don't know, maybe I'm being a massive boomer, but it just doesn't feel like Pokemon to me. Pokemon to me is about, bonding with your Pokemon, building a team, and just going through whatever obstacles the game presents you with your team. That's the core Pokemon to me. Oh, if you're gonna be like, oh, why don't you just fucking catch 500 fucking Pokemon that you never are going to use? Honestly, that just doesn't appeal to me. That's why I never played the Let's Go games. That's why I don't really like Pokemon Go all that much, because I see Pokemon a lot differently than a lot of people do. And, I play it differently. So, yeah, being, catered, yeah, modern day Pokemon doesn't really cater to me that well. And, besides, yeah. Another thing is like BB points or blueberry points. Watching Tyranitar's Tube's Let's Play on the Indigo Disc really killed any hope I had for the DLC, because if you're going to lock all of these Pokemon that many people would like to shiny hunt or do stuff like that behind hours, and I mean hours, of grinding these stupid tasks like a fucking mobile game, that's an issue. That's not something I would like to play. So yeah. So the blueberry points, like, that by itself should be a strike. Like, I do not want these mobile games leaking into my gaming. But, another thing is the characters. Now, here's the thing. Pokemon never, and I do mean never, had excellent character writing, right? There was N in Black and White. I did enjoy N, but I would never say Pokemon is like top tier story or character writing. And honestly, I can deal with bad writing. I can deal with, just absolute nothing characters. But, there's something that really pissed me off in the DLC, and that's the entire story of Kieran. Now, people are going to be like, oh, Kieran is an incel. Kieran doesn't deserve anything. We're the protagonist. We should be doing everything ourselves. No, fuck off. Right? Honestly, I personally like Kieran because he's a little guy. I see a lot of myself in him. And I like him. I like Kieran. I like being friends with fictional characters, as weird as that sounds. I like to be friends. I like to be. I like to help people in video games. So, to be forced to capture what he wanted, Ogerpon. To be forced to capture Ogerpon in the story, it kind of pissed me off. Not because I wanted to give Ogerpon to Kieran, or Ogerpon belongs to Kieran, or whatever. It's just, I just didn't have a choice. I was forced to capture. I would be forced to capture Ogerpon, and I just didn't like it. I just didn't, because I've seen numerous videos about the DLC, and you can do everything in your power to prevent capturing Ogerpon. But that just won't happen, because the game doesn't want you to, because you gotta catch it for some reason, because screw Kieran, I guess. So, yeah. Frankly, like, I know people, again, like, Kieran is not liked by the vast majority of people, but I like him. I would have liked to have an option, like, after defeating Ogerpon to not capture Ogerpon. I would like to go back to Kieran and say, hey, look, I know Ogerpon rejected you, but, I just let you know, I also didn't catch Ogerpon because I believe in our friendship more than capturing just some random-ass legendary. Like, Ogerpon could go fuck off to Oni Mountain for all I care. Like, I want to be friends with Kieran. I care more about Kieran than Ogerpon. Real. Anyways, so, yeah. So you're forced to catch Ogerpon, right? You're forced to catch Ogerpon. Right. Then you go to the Indigo Disc. So the Indigo Disc is, you go to Blueberry Academy, which is in Unova, right? But you don't see any Unova characters. You are just in this random plot, like in the ocean somewhere off the coast of Unova, and you don't even see Unova. Right? How is this supposed to be Unova? I know it shares music, like some motifs, some, like a meloetta and whatnot, but how is this Unova? Like, in what way does this belong in the Unova region? Like what way? Like, it's connected to nothing as far as I'm aware. Like, you could have just easily put this, like, near Sinnoh or something and just had Sinnoh music and just turned some of the characters into, like, kids of Sinnoh characters, and it would have still worked. Like, straight up. How is this Unova? Right? And I know I'm asking for a lot. Well, actually, no, I'm not asking for a lot. This is a multi-billion dollar company. And, the biggest game series of all time. Explain to me how that would be hard to do. So, yeah. So, the Academy itself, Blueberry Academy, it has nothing to do with Unova. It has nothing. Yeah. We have Clay's daughter in Lacey. We have Drayton, which is related to Drayden. We have the other two Elite Fours, but frankly, I just don't care about them. So, yeah. In their bios, they mention Unova cities, but, we see nothing about Unova, so, yeah. Okay, so, we learn that Kieran becomes a champion. Cool. Kieran becoming champion, that's something, right? Oh, but no, we gotta go fight the Elite Four and then steal that from him too, right? This dude, like, got off his ass, improved himself, right? And then we just come along and just beat his ass. Like, what are you supposed to be telling kids? I know kids are your main demographic, Game Freak. Why are you trying to tell them that, oh yeah, if you lose once, don't improve yourself? Right? Why do we, the protagonist, have to beat this guy's ass so much? Right? Okay, so this dude, Kieran, he gets a Master Ball. Become champion. We come along, we beat his ass, okay. Right? Then we get news that we have to go to Area 0. And what Area 0... Right? We go back to Area 0. We go down to the depths below. We find Terrapagus. Kieran using the Master Ball to capture Terrapagus, which was a nice surprise. I genuinely like the idea. And we battle with Terrapagus. I was thrilled because finally Kieran gets a fucking win. Because I like Kieran. And I'm like, let's go, Kieran. You did it. You did it. So, yeah. So, Kieran gets a win. In my mind. And then guess what? Oh, yeah, fucking Terrapagus breaks out of the Master Ball, which, is bullshit. But I digress. So, Terrapagus breaks out of the Master Ball, takes this massive terrestrial state, and we're forced to fight Terrapagus. And, there's a shit ton of glitches with the DLC, and, admittedly, I did not see the what's the word? The soft lock. I did not see the soft lock in any of the Let's Plays I watched. However, I did watch a video of Scarlet and Violet glitch hunting from, what's his face? I don't know. But I did watch that video, and I was baffled about how much they fucked up the boss fight. And honestly, yeah. Alright, so Kieran, right, Kieran, joins up with you to beat up Terapagos. Okay, Terapagos is down. Alright, one of us is gonna catch him. Oh wait, there was a don't catch option. Okay, I'm just gonna click that. Kieran goes, no, it's you go catch him, I'm done. Fuck off. You give me the option to not catch this thing. And you don't let me not catch this thing. What? Alright. I'm gonna explain why this pisses me off. So, okay. Now, forced catches were a thing in a lot of Pokemon games. Black and White had a forced capture of the box legendary. X and Y had forced captures of the box legendary. I'm trying to think. I entirely skipped Gen 8, so if that was a thing, that was a thing. So, the point is, most of the time, right? Most of the time, it would be for the plot, regardless of how well written that plot was. It would be for the plot. In Black and White, you had to stop N. So therefore, stop his dragon with our dragon. If you had Reshiram, you had Zekrom. So that's the thing. You would catch legendary, and you would use it for the plot reasons. Now, personally, outside of my first few playthroughs of Black and White, I would never use the dragon. I would never use Reshiram, the copies of Reshiram or Zekrom. They were just there. So, yeah. X and Y, if I remember correctly, you were forced to capture them. That, again, for plot reasons, because the world was going to die, and I think you were the only trainer there. So, So, yeah. Oh yeah, I think you were also forced to capture Solgaleo Lunala. I really can't remember. But point is, all of them were for plot reasons. All of these Pokemon were important legendary Pokemon for the world, for, the plot. So it's understandable why you'd be forced to catch them. Ogerpon and Terapagos, on the other hand, these are just random fuckers that just exist. Right? There's nothing that important about them. Yeah, Terapagos is responsible for the terrestrial phenomenon. Motherfucker, you had another trainer there that if I didn't want to catch it, he could have catched it. And if he didn't want to catch it, guess what? His sister could have. The literal scientist that wanted to study Terapagos could have. There was 3 other people there. I didn't have to catch it. Right? Ogerpon, right? I could have denied Ogerpon. I would have loved to deny Ogerpon, be like, hey, I'm not going to catch you. I would love to go back to Kieran and be like, I respect our friendship more, and so I didn't decide to catch Ogerpon. And I would have been fine with that, because, frankly, I think that's better than just randomly just capturing legendaries over and over again, because we got to catch them all, guys. We got to catch them all. We got to appeal to the Pokemon Go crowd. But it's very annoying. Okay, so with all the missed opportunities in the DLC. So yeah. Again, I would have spent $35 plus tax on the DLC, right? I would have spent that on the DLC. I would have played through the DLC. But guess what? The DLC has no actual choices. I would have not been really able to play how I wanted to play. I would have, if I already paid $60 for the base game, And you're gonna sit there and tell me that, oh yeah, I should buy this much just for a few Pokemon that, one, all the Pokemon should have already been in the game, right? Two, you're telling me that a lot of this content couldn't have been added via free downloads. Like, I know you're not, like, against, like, free events anymore, because, you know, Pecharunt is a thing. Pecharunt is a thing, I guess. You know. Which I have to say, the epilogue was fucking stupid. Like, it was really stupid. Like, you're telling me you have a brainwashing Pokemon, and what do you do with it? Oh yeah, you make your brainwashed victims do the chicken dance and scream mochi mochi. They have a brainwashing Pokemon now. It's just incredibly disappointing. Like, I'm not sure what to say. Like, I know this is a kid's game. Like, yeah. And I do enjoy... I will admit it, I did enjoy the epilogue. It just... I will admit I did enjoy the epilogue from, you know, what I've watched of it. But I'm just incredibly disappointed in the DLC and the epilogue, because, frankly, there's a lot that they could have done that they didn't do, and what they did do, I did not personally like. So, yeah, I'm not going to buy the DLC for Scarlet and Violet. So, yes. And, honestly, you know, I've been curious. I got kind of bit for it. So, I will no longer be buying any other Pokemon games in the future, which is a shame, because, you know, I used to love Pokemon. It was one of my hyperfixations from when I was a kid. You know, it was a big part of my, you know, growing up. You know, with my parents constantly divorcing and leaving each other. Pokemon would be this constant. I would always have these friends on my DS, even if they weren't exactly, you know, human. But, you know, it just, you know, this may be like my boomer sense talking, but, you know, Pokemon just doesn't feel like Pokemon anymore. It's just like, it's way too focused on making money. And granted, yeah, Pokemon was, any business is always focused on making money, but there's just little passion put into it left. It's just laziness after laziness, which is also why I started playing other games. Like, I've been playing some Fire Emblem games. I have all of Xenoblade Chronicles. Hold on. Like, I have the two games digitally, but I have this and I have this. So, yeah. So, anyways, so I have been playing other games other than Pokemon, and in fact, I enjoy them better than Pokemon nowadays. It's just that, like, there's this melancholy whenever I think about Pokemon, because I think it could be so much better, but nothing is being done with it. Like, and for as long as Game Freak continues to make money doing this, I believe Sword and Shield was the highest grossing Pokemon game to date. I'm not sure about those numbers, you could correct me if I missed anything in this video, but, you know, it's just a massive disappointment. And I don't hate Pokemon by any means. I don't. Just I wish it would have been done better. Well, I guess that's kind of everything I wanted to say. So, yeah. This is my fucking... this is my third attempt on a video like this, and see you later.